Imagine her stealing another glance as she crept up the stairs. Did she narrow her eyes at the cause of so much of her pain, or shake her head in disgust? Did she breathe a heavy sigh for him, for their family? And maybe with it, feel her resolve soften just a bit. It is a terrible thing to break up a family, after all. What the morning brought was worse. Around 9 in the morning, Amanda made her way back downstairs, still upset, still ready to say goodbye. This time she went to him, shook him. He was cold, face down. A halo of blood fanned out around his head. A knife lay nearby. The anger that had fortified her nerve, that had fixed her jaw as she came down to confront the aftermath of the night, disappeared. "Arturo, I forgive you. Please wake up. Please wake up, Arturo." Then came the screams. "My husband is dead. My husband is dead. Please, someone help me." Alone in that hotel room with her baby, the body of her dead husband so powerfully inanimate, anchoring her to a nightmare she wished only to escape. Amanda needed help, all right. But dead bodies demand an explanation. And once she was safely removed from the scene, Amanda was expected to explain as best, as convincingly, as she could, what happened. More specifically, she was expected to explain her role in it. The first explanation left the 23-year-old suddenly single mother in desperate need of help again. Amanda Rodriguez was arrested in Recife, Brazil, on July 12, 2009, the primary suspect in her husband's murder. If she had felt alone the morning before, it was nothing like the sense of isolation she felt now, separated from her baby, in the custody of Brazilian police. Yes, dead bodies demand an explanation, and at that stage of the investigation, the most likely explanation for Gatti's death was that he'd been murdered by his wife. There were strangulation marks on Gatti's neck, marks that seemed to have been caused by the blood-stained purse strap found at the scene. The assumption among Brazilian law enforcement was that Amanda had strangled a drunken Gatti while he slept, a state that would have allowed her to overpower a man who not only outweighed her by some 70 pounds, but who knocked people cold for a living. Moreover, she acted alone. This much was confirmed by Moises Teixeira, the lead investigator in the case. Teixeira told the Associated Press that it was technically impossible for a third person to have been in the flat. There were no signs of forced entry, and the electric locks on the door confirmed that no one other than Amanda and Gatti had entered the unit. "The investigation isn't finished," said Teixeira, "but we continue to think she did this alone." Teixeira's suggestion that the investigation had not yet ruled anything out misrepresented the matter somewhat. What had been ruled out thus far was the possibility that Amanda acted with an accomplice, and implicit in that belief was the assumption she had acted. Amanda was less certain about what happened. In her version of the story, she had been sleeping, ignorant of the ending being engineered downstairs. She suggested Gatti might have killed himself, or that someone might have somehow entered the apartment and murdered him. She was innocent, however. On this, she could accept no doubt. Teixeira dismissed both explanations. Brazilian law dictates that although police accuse a person of a crime, the prosecutor is responsible for formally filing a charge. Police had until July 22nd to share their findings with the prosecutor. And it boded poorly for Amanda that Teixeira, already analyzing the case as a murder, hoped to have the investigation completed before the deadline. 10 years later, Main Event's CEO, Kathy Duva, would come back to this point in explaining her sense of what happened that night. That they arrested her immediately tells me they had good reason to think that she did it. Seemingly unfazed by Teixeira's expectations, Amanda welcomed a speedy resolution. In a letter from prison, she wrote, "I am innocent, and I know that this will be proven in a few days." A few days? Not given the evidence. The early defenses offered.